So apparently they found a weapon of mass destruction. My putter. All right, boys, go get him over there. And now please welcome Mr. Bruce Jenner. Just wanted to remind you fellas what you're all fighting for.
That's funny that you chose to lead with that one today, considering how much they talked about the military at the DNC last night and this week, and they've been touting Tim Walz's 24-year record, 24 years of doing literally not a fucking thing, and as soon as it came time to do something, he decided to retire. But that's neither here nor there. And how they're going to make the military strong and all of this stuff. It's like, y'all are the ones who have put all of this policy in place that has run every red-blooded American male who might want to be a part of military service away from it, and instead brought in fucking trannies and furries and women and everything
they literally said
else.
This past week. So like the that's like kind of apt too. Like I was thinking because they literally released something about they were going to make the production of nuclear weapons more queer or something like that. That was literally I forget what the exact like policy like for that was, but there was some kind of like recommendation that hey, we need to have more bi, whatever, gay, all that stuff for people working on, I guess, nuclear weapons was the kind of like mandate.
I mean, there's like a plus 40% chance that they're going to kill themselves anyway. I mean, do we really want to give them access to nuclear material where they might take other people with them when they do it? Like, come on. It's like if you know a kid is, a cutter, you don't put him in a room with a bunch of knives and, blades and stuff. Like
or like if like Ahmed, like do you like put Ahmed in charge of the explosives?
And do we really want like diversity hires for nuclear weapons? Like, look at how it's worked out in every other field where that is. And maybe we should talk about that to open it up. Did you see the new MIT numbers that came out?
No, I didn't.
So this is MIT's first year since the Supreme Court made its ruling on the DEI applications and stuff like that, and said that they're not allowed to discriminate based on race and stuff. That they have to just, or that the colleges and universities should be accepting students who actually are qualified and deserve to be at the school. They don't have to meet any like bullshit quotas anymore. And the number of Asians and whites went up. The number of everything else went down. I think Mexicans stayed relatively flat, or Hispanics stayed relatively flat, which is interesting. But like everything else went down.
The majority of them go into the trades, so like especially usually the men go into the trades and the women they have a lot of kids. So,
and I've got the full article on it, and I need to dig into it because I want to look at the demographic numbers in all of those demographics as well, like because that was just general race
acceptance
numbers. Yeah, rate acceptance rates based on race. It didn't have the gender breakdowns and stuff as well. And I would
probably
really
also didn't have the scholarship rates, which is another.
There's the full there's a full publication with all of it, and I need to go through it. Like the Twitter post I saw didn't have all of that stuff listed. Uh, it just had the race numbers listed. But like I would be willing to bet, as is often the case, like in the STEM fields, that the acceptance rate for females, now that they're not having to go based on DEI metrics, the acceptance rate for females probably went down, and the acceptance rate for males probably went up at MIT. I don't know how that would apply exactly at a lot of other type institutions, but at MIT, in those types of fields, generally males thrive and do better.
His Alabama's business school gonna have lower female acceptance rate? I doubt it, but yeah, right. MIT, something a science based, like maybe somewhere else like Georgia Tech too, or something like that, like a technical school. Those kind of things. They might be more male centric now, but yeah. So this is
that's a thing that we've seen in a whole bunch of they're like trying to force more women into these different fields that are generally not women's fields. I mean, like your field, for instance, is typically more male dominated, and they keep trying to like. I don't understand why do we need to create these pockets of people doing these jobs that don't want the jobs. Like clearly, if they wanted the jobs, they would do it. They wouldn't need to be like given these grotesque incentivizations to get involved in it. Like if that's what they wanted to do, they just do it. They don't. It's the same reason that generally speaking. I'd say it's generally the same reason that men don't go into like nursing and stuff like that. Like it's not something that like why isn't there a push to get more men in the nursing field? Why isn't there a push to get more men in any other like how about in the teaching field? Get more men in the teaching field. Like that's one of those that's completely dominated by women. Why don't we need diversity and equity and inclusion in the fields that aren't white male dominated?
Construction.
Have you seen the? Oh God! Now I got to go find the story. Whenever I get home, I try to find it. There was some big construction project that they there's like an all-female crew, and they awarded this like contract to them, and it completely went to shit. Like did not work out at all. Like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine giving you gave a contract to a crew because it's all female, and then you're surprised when they couldn't hack it and get the job done.
Too busy arguing over what color what color bricks they were going to use.
Eggshell or flat? I like the plum. Oh, the plum's too purple. We need something that's got more pink in it.
That literally sounds like it would have went. How it went. Yeah, they have
do you want the
whole...
sky blue or the baby blue? And the dudes are all standing around like, why are we arguing
Rick,
over what?
Go here.
Yeah.
Ugh, put brick together. There, put cement. Smear cement, put brick, build thing.
It's like really just got to make all the noise in the world over there. Yes, I'm about to eject your ass into that field. Good luck. Anybody want a kid? Free kid. Mostly potty trained. Only occasional accidents. 0 What the fuck? So it brings me back. It always reminds me of that thing with the men and the women on the islands where they split them up. It was that British show or an Australian show, something like that. Anyway, they split up and put the men on one island, women on the other island, and the men like butted heads for a couple weeks. And once they figured out the pecking order and who was good at what and how to kind of manage themselves, then it's like they're on fucking vacation. They're killing shit and eating everything and like
You get
hanging
like
out,
Joe,
having
like
fun.
Joe Schmo catching 20 fish, and then the other guys are like the other guy's a good cook, so he's cooking, and then you
Yeah,
got
and
the
then
other
you've
guy
got
who's like gathering and building stuff, building a like
and then you've got
boat.
the women's island where they set out to go like form a habitat somewhere. 3 separate occasions, get lost in the woods and end up right back on the exact same beach that they started out at. Somehow, like that should be a statistical impossibility, and yet they still managed to do it. They were all starving to death. Every time one of them would have a good idea, all of the other ones would just beat the idea into the dirt, and so they would never actually do anything or accomplish anything. The the producers of the show literally like released some pigs and stuff close, like dropped them on the island close to them and like forced them to go to the women. And instead of eating them,
Killing and
the
eating.
women tried to like catch them
Pets.
and make them pets, and then they all died. It's like this. I mean, there are some things that women are good at, and there are some things that women are not good at, and we don't need to be forcing them into fields that they don't belong in. Just like men are not going to try to like inject ourselves into fields that we don't belong in because we know that's not something that we want anything to do. And yes, there are always exceptions to the rule. There are, effeminate little gay dudes that like to do some of that bullshit and are probably better equipped for it. And there
They're
are
drinking a
also,
story.
right. And there are also relatively masculine women who are capable of doing other things. Dude, could you stop crunching the fucking baggies? Like, I can hear it through my headphones. There's no way it's not coming through on
Yeah,
this.
I can
Like,
hear it
all you
here.
have to do is he can hear it too. Like, there's no all you have to do is just sit still and not make a bunch of noise. I'm about to dump you off at the school. Yeah, 15-year-old free to a good home. If nothing else, he's large, so you can use him for like.
Pack mule. There we go.
If nothing, so
Got a
you
pack
can use
mule.
it for beating on.
No, I'll just make him a pack mule. He'll just carry everything.
Well, he's not strong either, so like he's not even good for that.
Well, no, see, look, not yet. Okay, we can work with
It'd be a good paperweight. If you've got something that you need to not move, you can just push him on top of it, and it'll stay there. So anyway, about that DNC. When did they put a light back up here? This fucking sucks.
Like 2 weeks ago.
I hate it. Tornado came through, knocked out a traffic light that was completely unnecessary, and now they hung a new traffic light. Haven't fixed anything else that the tornado took out, but they hung the traffic light where the traffic light's not necessary.
Why is that still dangling? They should fix that.
Right? Like all this shit that could have been fixed, and they hung a fucking traffic light where there's literally not a need for one. And there's especially not a need for one because the entire reason that the traffic light is there is this giant building that's destroyed over here where nobody can work at it because it's giant that's been destroyed. Like the light was exclusively for traffic coming in and out of that building. And now the building is destroyed. So like, oh my gosh, I hate the Indiana Highway Department more than possibly any other like agency on the planet.
Yeah, Aldot sucks too. Aldot is literally the worst. They will stop both lanes, like they'll block off both lanes of traffic, create a especially on the interstates, like they're really bad because they'll block off both lanes of traffic instead of working one lane at a time and just blocking off a lane or whatever.
Well, here they'll block off
like a divert. They'll make a new lane and divert you to the other side of the interstate, and then they blocked off half of that one. So it's like, what was this for? This is retarded.
Here you get to run serpentine because they'll block off part of this lane and then they'll block off part of that lane. So the cones are all set up where you're just going back and forth. It's like, why can't we just work on one side at a time? It's awful. It's absolutely awful. I think these things are designed to enrage us. Like, they probably follow our social media posts and listen to us rant about it, and then after we get to a certain point, they're like, "All right, They are sufficiently
Almost got him
jacked
to
up.
the
They're ready.
edge.
Right, we've got them sufficiently jacked up to go try to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. Like, let's do this. Yeah, I feel
Oh,
like that's
speaking of
kind of
Gritch, you know,
yeah.
this was her best moment last night.
Badge of honor. Badge of honor.
I mean, she has no clue
She wore
what she just.
that badge of honor with pride. I'm sure. I think she did the slut walk.
Yeah.
Okay. Hell, we're around the school. I'm probably cutting in and out now.
Let's see.
Can you get all?
I can hear you now.
What's his name? Bach? Frimpong. Bach was a badass movie.
Y'all Frimpong Boyaki or some dumb thing. I can't pronounce his last name.
So this is a funny clip that I saw on here. Like this dude is being see this is why men and women can't communicate here. This is a good example of why men and women can't communicate well, because men, you know, understand things literally, and women like to speak in code.
Oh yeah, I have a sword too. Don't forget it.
I'll take that. I'll take it.
What?
The sword.
What do you mean you'll take it? You can't take it. I'll fight you with it.
No, I won't take it. I will eat it.
You can't eat it. It's metal. Look, it's. I don't know what you're saying. It's literally metal. See?
Like, this dude's clueless. He doesn't get it.
See, this is why women aren't funny.
Yeah. They don't know how to deliver the line, like because she wasn't delivering.
Sorry,
the
I'm
line
driving as
with
fast as I
that.
can to try to get away from this school.
Like they just kill service. It's like not only like you know, we're not gonna have predators be able to check this because there's no service, but also no one who actually needs to have service near the school is going to be able to use it. And also kids can't use it because there's just no service. So there's no all the cases are covered. Nobody gets to do anything, and that's the way they like it.
All right, I'm getting away. Good God. I don't understand why they like it. It has to be something about the school because everywhere else in town is fine, perfectly fine, get full service. But as soon as you get within a block of the school, it all drops out to nothing. It's just anyway.
Instead of
What else?
using jammers or whatever, they just need to like build a school wherever you want to if you want to block cell signal, like you know instead of having like some kind of digital jammer or whatever, just build a school there. They'll have no service.
So what else? We got Gretchen. Who else was it? We got. Are there any clips from Pocahontas from last night? She really wasn't impressive. I didn't like nothing. They put her on early in the programming last night, and she delivered just a complete nothing burger. I didn't. She may as well have not even spoken. It was.
There was the Blaze had a. Oh, here it is. The Blaze made a good comment on this here. They said Elizabeth Warren has her own an emotional Elizabeth Warren has her own trail of tears, holds back a trail of tears as she takes it in. Wait, why are they? I didn't know. I didn't see this when in y'all's stream, but they're signing the applause. What? I don't get that.
So I ran the AP stream that didn't have the sign link or the signers on the stream. So. Actually, the Associated Press stream was very not geared towards disabled people in any way. There was no you couldn't access closed captioning for it. They didn't have a signer. It was just like straight up either you watch this like a normal human being or you don't get it from the AP.
See, I thought the AP was like one of those like really progressive outlets, so it's kind of weird that they.
Well, they are. They probably just haven't figured out the technology to actually do any of that stuff yet.
Like, how do we enable closed captioning for the stream? I don't know. We've got to run it. Get it the hell on air right now. Like, look, we have to stream this. Like that, you're taking too much time. See, that's one of those things. Is like maybe efficiency actually outweighed like the need to virtue signal or whatever. Like, look, we have closed.
Like, fuck it, we'll figure it out next year. Just run the stream. I don't know. Is the AP one of the news agencies that has had mass layoffs and job cuts and stuff over the last year or so? I know that's happened to a bunch of them. CNN is like constantly laying people off. What was it? Some of the like I think the New York Times and MSNBC, some of the other big ones have. Yeah, WAPO. I know a bunch of them have had some significant layoffs of late. ESPN has been laying off.
They got rid of their best commentator, RG3. Oh, dude, RG3, and then he was like, "So I don't know why he said this, but apparently he said I'm not compromising to have have this position or something like that."
What did you see the? Speaking of, did you see the thing with the? I guess the showrunner or one of the creators for Marvel 90 or for X-Men 97. After he got done working on season 2, he got fired. Disney fired him, and he says that they fired him because of because of a pride post that he made. Like, dude, you work for fucking Disney. There's 0% chance they fired you for a pride post. If anything, they would have given you a promotion for a pride post. Like, yeah. If they fired you, it was probably something else going on. And apparently, the more you dig into this story, he was just like an absolute belligerent asshole and impossible to work with. So, like, yeah, he did great work, but also he was a miserable fucking cunt. So that's why they got rid of him, not because of a pride post. But
yeah, that's kind of like the whole Mick Gordon thing, like for the Doom game. So like he made the Doom music, and they were like, yeah, like he's impossible to work with. And then he had his own claims with stuff like that too. But like, yeah, so a lot of times it's the company said and like a he said she said kind of thing, like where the company probably has some like problems, but also the company's probably scummy as shit, and like they're probably like, hey, work your dick in the dirt to make like 800 songs or whatever, and then he's just like, I can't do that, but I can promise you like 100 good ones or whatever, and they're like, well, but that doesn't mean and yeah, so there's probably a lot of back and forth with that kind of stuff.
Well, and speaking of Disney and woke bullshit, The Acolyte got canceled after one season.
Oh yeah, that's great. Like, it was
apparently lesbian space witches are not how you sell Star Wars to Star Wars nerds. Who would have thought? If they were like hot lesbian space witches that were doing some stuff in Princess Leia attire, you might have been able to sell it. But as it stands, they were just like very haggish looking. Like it was highly unimpressive.
The butch lesbian like fighting like bad guys. You know, like like the butch lesbians fighting Sith, and then like I don't know, becoming Sith. I don't know what the hell the story was. I just saw some of the clips, and I'm like, they just have like the lightsabers changing color mid fight and stuff like this, and it's like, the hell is this? This is not Star Wars at all.
Yeah, I only really watched like clips and highlights and stuff, and everything that I gathered from it was like, yeah, I mean, this doesn't. Number one, it doesn't look like good storytelling anyway, and that's like that's the biggest thing for me. I'm fine if you want to throw all the diversity hires into a show that you can cram in there. Cool. Make the writing good, make the story interesting, like give it good dialogue. As long as it's a good product, I don't give a fuck about any of that other shit. But it was not. And it had all that other shit crammed in it. And also, pretty sure the showrunners on that like said before it even came out that like they were aiming to make white males uncomfortable. It's like, you do understand your target demographic is white males, right? Like that's your audience. White nerdy dudes love fucking Star Wars, and like make something for them. But I think it was Sibling Revelry did a breakdown of like the numbers on Deadpool after opening weekend, and like how much money Deadpool made. And then there's also like other stuff that kind of breaks down like the formula for Deadpool and Wolverine, and it's like, okay, it's like completely devoid of all of the woke, insane bullshit that they've crammed into all these other stories. It's actually got good dialogue, good storytelling, likable characters. Like, it's amazing if you like just give people what they want, they'll come see it. Also, when your target demographic is white males 18 to 40, make something that white males 18 to 40 want to see. The demographics on ticket sales for the opening weekend of Deadpool was like the white male demographic went to see that movie. Like, it made more money in its opening weekend off of white males in that age range than the Marvels made in its entire cinematic run. It's like, you don't need anybody else to make money. You could just make shit for us and we'll go fucking see it. Or you can make shit that's not for us and not make any money on it. It's really that easy. I mean, and then if they painted as I'd say that gets painted as racism and misogyny, and it's not. It's like, what did you expect? If you don't make something that's appealing to certain people, it's not racist or misogynistic not to want to see it. It's just, that's what we have a preference for. And if you're not going to make stuff that falls into our preference, then we're not going to participate.
It wouldn't matter as much if they didn't have to come out every time they make something that's quote unquote not for us, and then also say like, this is not for you whenever we criticize it or whatever. Like, hey, that looks like it sucks. And then they have to say like, well, you're just a bigot. You don't understand. It wasn't made for you. It's like, okay, well, all right, I'm not seeing it. And it's literally there was I think the female Terminator movie or whatever that they did, and then they were like, this isn't made for straight white males. And then it's like, okay, we're not gonna see it. Guess what? It failed. It flopped completely. So I mean,
no, it was that Charlie's Angels remake.
No, they did it with the Terminator one too, I think. Dude, they do it almost every time. Almost every time they like, every time that there's like a female centric or black only centric or whatever kind of movie.
Oh, you're talking about the Terminator one that had
That
Shit.
butch chick. Yeah.
Khaleesi, what's her name? The chick from Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It just really wasn't good. Like that was, I think that's the problem that one had. It wasn't so much that
Well,
it
but they
was
came
not
out. They came out
geared.
and said though, is they said this like men were like saying like, hey, you know, especially guys like us were like, hey, this doesn't look like Terminator. It looks like it sucks. And then they were like, but it's not made for you. It's made, you know, we're empowering women. We're making a female Terminator movie. They did the whole thing, and then it flopped, and they were like, why aren't white males seeing our movie? Like,
Right. It's like we're the ones who
fuck off, like.
we're the ones who are carrying the box office. Maybe you should consider making shit exclusively for us.
Yeah.
Like, more titties, more gunfights, less gay bullshit. That's all. That's the formula for success.
Easy wins.
Yes. Like, and it's the easiest win to pick up. I mean, just look at Deadpool and Wolverine. It's the easiest win ever. Didn't have to be anything complex. Do some fan service. Do some fun shit. Don't be gay and fucking stupid. That's it.
Well, and with Deadpool, you can be a little gay. You can make gay jokes. Like obviously, like there's like the jokes, like jokes about Deadpool being gay or whatever. You know, he makes gay jokes.
Right. You can be as gay as you want as long as it's funny.
Yeah.
You can be as gay as you want as long as it's funny. Don't be a fag. That's
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We should just start a consulting firm. Like, we call it No Shit Consulting. Like, hey, guess what? Your target demographic is white males. Well, no, we want to target. No, you don't, because those people don't spend money. White males, they have the disposable income. That's the whole part of white supremacy and the patriarchy. So that's who you target to. That's your demographic. Now go make money. But nothing. You want to make money or you want to be broke and hungry? Like, these are easy choices. Let's do the right thing here. We can make you rich, or you can be a moron. It's up to you entirely. I don't understand how like movie studios
like
greenlight this shit.
It's like Andrew Tate would say. It's like, do you want to be a brokey? Like,
I don't understand how movie studios greenlight this shit. Like yes, I get that sometimes you have these like.
Sometimes they use them as tax write-offs. Not gonna lie, they probably do use some failing movies as tax write-offs. That they're just like, hey, this is gonna flop so bad, but what the hell do we care? We're gonna write it off on our taxes, and then we're gonna get some losses on that, because they do have a lot of gains, so they may want to take some losses as far as.
Well, and like you see some that are like the really really good, more artistic or like thinky type pieces that it's not going to get a big box office. It's not going to be something that's like a blockbuster, but what it is going to be like really good that'll win awards and stuff. Like, you can justify that kind of stuff. Like, if you've got something like that it's like, yeah, something that's going to win a bunch of awards, but it's not going to do numbers at the movie theaters. Like, trying to think, like a lot of the like A24 movies that are they're really weird and kind of creepy and psychological thriller type stuff that there's a lot of depth to it, and they're like really good, but they have terrible box office numbers because like most people aren't going to see something like that, but it wins a metric fuck ton of awards at like every film awards ceremony or every film awards festival on the planet. It's like, yeah, I get making those because you're going to win a bunch of awards for them, and those that kind of gives you it gives you a justification for spending the money to make this stuff, right? But like some like the Marvels and Madam Web and the Charlie's Angels reboot the Ghostbuster with all female reboot. Like, what studio looked at that stuff and was like, "Oh yeah, we're completely ignoring our entire target demographic that's going to spend a metric fuck ton of money to see stuff and going in a completely different direction. This will be a smashing success. We're totally not going to lose have to sell the fucking farm after this."
Well, that used to be the whole selling point of like.
Especially like.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was saying especially because what they used to have is like that was the whole point of gathering data. Like like you would gather a lot of data and you would have like you would build your demographic of who is going to watch this movie, and we're going to really lean into that, and then that's going to be like our product. Like you would know what your demographic is. Like, but I think like the thing that they're seeing, and this is something I'm speculating, is so I really think that the quarterly, like this, maybe this is getting too technical as far as like how it is, but I think like quarterly profits is really driving a lot of these companies to sit there, and the reason that they're trying to expand their demographic is because they're like a big fish in a small pond, and then they're looking at like, this is our max revenue per year, and if they don't increase their demographic, that's all you're ever going to make. Like, only the makeup companies are only going to make so much from women. So now you say, okay, well, now men can be women, and men can wear makeup, and then we can expand that, and now we can get both men and women as part of our demographic. But that's not your target demographic. Your target demographic is women who want to pretty themselves up with makeup and make themselves look better.
And even with that example, that starts to piss off some women, and then they stop using that particular brand and switch brands or stuff, because I mean, these days there is no such thing as like brand loyalty. It's whatever you're getting the best bang for your buck out of, and if they're diverting time and attention and effort into making this other bullshit and doing this like virtue signaling bullshit, and then because that ends up seeping into the other product lines as well, like then you turn your customer base off. Like it's not just white men that are like, oh yeah, that looks like shit, I'm not gonna participate, I'm not buying that. Like women do the same thing. If they see that they're not being, especially if women think that you're not paying enough attention to them or catering to them exclusively, oh yeah, they'll cut tail and fucking run and find whoever loves them the best real quick. Look at that Liz Wheeler thing about the video games and stuff. You had a good analysis of that.
Oh yeah. When was that? So yeah, it's about that was my takeaway. Is like it's about a attention economy for women. Like if you're not devoting enough attention to them, and that's why they don't like video games, is because I might sit down for 2 hours and play a video game, and I'm gonna be dedicated to the video game for 2 hours. It's not like, hey, we're watching a movie together. I'm playing the video game. I'm active, and I'm not paying attention to you. Even if my wife like comes in here, sometimes she'll come in here and sit with me when I play games or something like that. I'm not paying attention to her, and that probably does frustrate. Like that is frustrating for women. Is it's like, he's not paying attention. Why isn't he paying attention? Now like it's like, well, I can't while I'm playing.
It is an attention economy for women. Like everything is an attention transaction. It's like my wife, she's like, you want to watch a TV show or something? So we'll sit down and watch a TV show, and like we're actually watching the show. Like it's something that we haven't seen. It's a series or a show that we're starting, and then she'll sit there and talk to me the whole time. I'm like, would you shut the fuck up? I thought we were watching this. Like, right? Like this is actually interesting. I'm trying to watch this. Like, and then she gets more mad at me because I'll grab the remote and I'll pause it so that she can talk to me. And I'm like, and then she's mad because I paused it. Like, do you want to watch the show or do you want to talk? Like, this is why I go play video games and put headphones in and ignore everybody else, because like I want to just focus on something. And I think that's also gets back to the MIT thing that we talked about earlier, like in the men and women are built for different things. Like we can be more intentional with one thing. Like you give us something to do, and we can just sit there and do it for forever. Like I don't need variety. I don't need to change anything. Like my
I eat the same thing for breakfast every day, pretty much. So it's like I don't have to like change up. Like women are like, oh, I had eggs and bacon yesterday. It's like I can eat eggs and bacon every day. Who the hell, like?
All right, it's been 6 months. It's time to reorganize the living or rearrange the living room. It's like, why? What's wrong with where everything is now? I mean, I would be willing to bet, however long we live here, the furniture arrangement in my garage will never at any point change. I have already created the maximum efficiency of the space. There's no reason to move anything ever again.
Right.
But if it's a she shed, every 3 months we've got to repaint the walls and move everything around. And like why do we have to keep moving stuff? Like what's wrong with where everything is right now? It was like yesterday. I just stayed here in town yesterday. I didn't go anywhere or do anything, and I didn't go anywhere or do anything. Like I went and sat in front of the barbershop and read until he opened, and then I went in and got my hair cut, and then I went and sat by the school until Sean got out for lunch, and I took him for lunch, and then I went and sat by the school and read for the rest of the day until he got out of school. Like I just sat in my truck and read a book all day. And so like Stephanie was texting me and she goes, "What? So you just stayed there today?" I was like, "Yeah." She said, "That seems like an awful lot of time to do nothing." I was like, "I'm not doing nothing. I'm reading." I'm like, "What? I'm not. What do you mean?" Oh, like I have a book. I will read all day long. Like I think I read like 10 chapters. Read 10 chapters of the book. It's like, yeah. Why do I need to do anything else? Like I have all of the. I mean, and it's the same. Again, it's the same thing with
You're supposed to want to change activities like women do. Like they change activities like they change their tampons.
Well, and I think there's also a misconception on like the video game thing, because she and I were talking about this, and she was like, "Well, yeah, video gamers are just unattractive and they live in their parents' basement." Da 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 da. I was like, "That's really poor mischaracterization." Like, it's like not that's. Yes, that is a certain part of that demographic, but it's really not like all of them by any means. In fact, I wouldn't even say it's probably a vast majority of them. Like
you should ask your wife like if she thinks this guy's a gamer, because yes, this guy's a gamer, and he's also a fitness like guy. So he's literally always hitting, like showing like, oh yeah, here I hit the gym today, and like I did this or whatever. That's this guy, and he also plays. He also happens to play video games.
Oh, and like there were other things on that list like collectibles and taxidermy and gambling, stuff like that. And like I get it with the gambling. If it's a compulsive, like problematic type of a gambling thing, yes, I can understand. But I'm pretty sure, based on that list, what it means by gambling is going and playing and having a weekly poker game with your buddies type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
would be my guess. Which again, it distracts from attention that they think should be paid exclusively to them. So
you're going and hanging out with the boys, and you're
right.
not.
So gambling is a problem in this case.
Yeah.
I sincerely cannot believe going to the gym, reading books, or like different types of sports wasn't included on that list. And they probably were on the list. Just whoever published the list was smart enough not to put them on there.
Well, no, it would be like, you talking about playing sports or watching sports?
Both.
I would see both of them be like. I think it's just not the first thing that comes to their mind. Is probably what it is. It's like they're probably. I don't know why taxidermy is even on here. To be honest.
Right?
Oh, here.
I would think. I would
Let me
think
pull.
sports.
I actually got my post here.
Yeah, I would think sports would rank above taxidermy in terms of things that, hobbies that are on women's radar.
Yeah. See.
What are all of them?
So it's collecting figurines, which I mean, to some degree, I get that. Like, but there's also like there is an aspect of collecting like stuff that is, it's just, like I have some stuff back here that I collect. I got a few figures and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't make it my whole personality. I don't like, oh look, did you see the new one? Like it's not like, yeah, I just see one that's cool, and especially if the kids like it and stuff like that. It's like, hey, you can have it, have it up here. But magic tricks. I don't understand the magic trick. That one, online trolling. Okay, maybe that is a hobby. It's fun, but also yeah, I could see it taking up a lot of time. Gambling, I can understand because if you're going, but yeah, like you said, if they're counting you going hanging out with the boys, that's probably it. But yeah, building model trains. Oh. Yeah.
So they don't like
no,
horses?
I think with the sports it's different though, Justin. I do think that they don't like that men do it, that men engage in it, but the least attractive. Like it's attractive if you're interested in sports because it means you're interested in like competition, and they like men who are interested in competition. That's what I think that why sports isn't even on this radar, because they want you to be interested in competition because then they want you to compete for them. So if you're interested,
But if you're competitive, then you have some aspects of toxic masculinity. So.
But they like that. They will never admit that, but they like that. Like
Fickle creatures, those females. Also, I think women are very binary in a lot of ways. Like they don't understand certain levels of nuance. Like I was saying, like with the video games, the collectibles, the comic book stuff. Like whenever I mention all of those things to my wife, she's like, she immediately goes to the most extreme, like,
basement dweller,
repugnant, nerdy, like, yeah, live in their parents' basement, that kind of thing. It was like, you do realize, like, I do all of those things, right? It's like, I have a very extensive collection of collectibles.
You just don't make it your whole personality. I think
in my garage.
Like
I play video games. I play video games consistently and have like a group of friends who I play video games with. Like I have a massive comic book collection and go to the comic book store at least once a week. Look at comics and stuff like that. It's like you realize like all of these things. You were pointing out the most extreme example, but the most extreme example is not most of us who are doing this stuff. Like those are more the exceptions than the rule. Like, so women are automatically turning off to all of this stuff that like normal guys do, and then naturally what will happen is they'll go like start to date these guys and find out, oh my gosh, he's a gamer. He's just some weird autistic and like that, and then they'll just like turn off to a guy who is just like me and you and has friends and does things with his friends, and that those things include playing video games and having a poker game, stuff like that.
Yeah, but also like I think part of it too is like just the base attraction level. Like if they're not attracted to you at all, so like this is like I'll just basically read my tweet verbatim. That women are concerned about attention diversion, not your personal hobbies. Taxidermy is a low time and money investment unless you're doing it as a side gig. Because that's another thing too. It is about a money investment too. Because if you're spending money on comics or you're spending money on, I'm surprised guns on here actually, because that's a huge money investment. But maybe they're just like assuming that that's a no-go to begin with, or like most women. Or they're not going to care about that as long as like you don't keep that but like, yeah, it's going to invade on them, you being able to invest in them. Yeah. And even less so if you're interested in getting taxidermy for what you bag and not doing it yourself. Yeah, that was kind of a side tangent. Video games are larger and potentially more expensive time sink, along with collecting things. That's why women can't deal with those things being a man's hobby. They also don't really care which of these you do if you look good and you're interesting as a person. That is the key thing. If you look good and you're interesting as a person, I don't think that, like, basically if you can reach a base level of attractiveness for like whatever woman you're attracting, then they really don't care what hobby you do, as long as it's not like invading on them. Like,
Well, and I guess that goes back to like my wife's examples whenever I'm asking her about these things. Like you can tell that the dude that she's picturing in her head is physically unattractive and doesn't have money. Like,
yeah,
not to make my wife sound shallow, but you can tell when she's talking about it, that's exactly where her mind goes.
he works
Like,
at McDonald's and he uses his money to buy his spare money that he gets from working at McDonald's to buy comics. Like that's what she's picturing.
right. She doesn't equate me with any of those things, even though I am a bunch of those things. I guess
That's why I
good.
said, like,
maybe
maybe
that means my wife thinks I'm attractive.
Well, it's about variety too. Like if you can do those things, and then you can also, like, you know, I changed the oil in my wife's car a couple weeks ago. You know, I can change a flat tire. Like if you can do those type of things, and you know, and also you can play video games. I collect cards. I collect, you know, stuff. So yeah, it's like she doesn't care as long as, like, I'm meeting those other basic needs.
So just establish it for those who are looking for dating advice. Establish a baseline of being useful before you let her know about all of your weird hobbies.
Exactly. Yeah. Like if you could, like, oh,
Don't let her know. Just don't let her know that you're interested in anything at all. It's like, yeah, I just don't really do anything. I go to work and then
That was me. It was like I met her in college, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to work. Oh, I'm going to class. Yeah, I'm going to work. I'm going to class. It's like, like she doesn't know anything else but, like, I work and go to class. So it's like,
that's whenever Stephanie and I first started talking. It's like, you go to work, you go to church. That was it. Work and church. Like, yeah, I played a lot of video games, did a lot of other stuff too. But like, that's all I really spent time talking to her about was going to work, going to church. She doesn't need it.
yeah, I think it's
weird stuff
if you start, like, talking to women about
But,
video games, like that's when you really screw up. It's like you want to talk to, like, it. I think women think that you're gonna want to talk to them about the hobby, and if you're like, oh yeah, you know, this new game's coming out. Oh, it's so exciting. Oh my, you know, you sound just like those, like, soy boy or whatever guys, like they're like, oh my god, new thing. Get excited for next product. Like, did you soy face over it? You know, whatever.
That's how Sean is. Oh my god. I'm glad he's out of the truck. He's like, every time there's a new video game or a new season, the new season of Fortnite or the new, like, he's always like, oh, have you seen this? Have you seen this? I'm like, no, I literally have not. I don't fucking care. Yeah, like that's all he'll talk about.
If you ever boot up, it's like if you ever boot up the like Fortnite or whatever, and you're like, oh, there's a new season. Like you're not sitting there like, the new season's coming out. Like you hyperventilate.
I don't have a timer set on my phone that'll tell me when it drops. It's like, I don't care. That's like with Helldivers. As much as I've been playing and getting into it, I get on and I play for a little while, and I'm in the Discord.
Make fun of the Redditors about it.
Yeah, I'm in the Discord, and I also do some stuff on Reddit. So if I get a notification pop up on Discord from the Helldivers community of something, then I go check that out. And if it's something that's interesting, I want to jump in on, cool, I go do it. And otherwise, I don't. I'll play whenever I get around to it. Next time I'm sitting down and got time to kill. And like, I don't think about it outside of that. Like, have you seen? So there's a Netflix show called Uncle from Another World. It's like an anime series. It's entertaining. It's really pretty cool. But like, the uncle disappears into this other realm.
I may have to check that out. Sounds
He was like a massive like Sega Saturn nerd before he, like a huge video game nerd before he went like into this other realm. And so like all he talks about all the time is video games, like video games this, video games that. I was like, Sean, I want you to watch just a couple episodes of this show. And he watched it, and I was like, all right, what'd you think of the uncle? He was like, oh my God, he's so annoying. I was like, that's you. I was like, that's you. He was like, oh my God, it is. I was like, yeah, pump the brakes, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't need to hear about video games 100% of the time, all day, every day. Like, cool, but like, you gotta learn to pump the brakes. I think that's like the biggest takeaway and lesson that should come for dudes with their hobbies is like, hobbies are cool. If it becomes some all-encompassing thing that you just like browbeat into everybody that you come in contact with at every second of every day, not only is that going to be unattractive to females, that's going to be unattractive to literally everybody else. Like, they're going to start ignoring you, not wanting to talk to you. Like, yeah, like you'll make everybody hate you. Like, just be just a little bit less retarded.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.